Next up at UFC 296, we have Cody Garbrandt taking on Brian Kelleher. This is a very interesting fight. This card is stacked with fights that are fun and interesting, even if they mean nothing for the division. This is one of them. Sure, a Cody Garbrandt win could get people talking, ooh, is he back? But it's not like either one of these guys are going to make their case for a title shot or a rankings or anything like that following a win in this fight. But it is a very fun fight nonetheless. We got Cody Garbrandt, 13-5 overall, 2-3 in his last 5. He's coming off that very patient, some call it boring, win over Trevin Jones, taking on Brian Kelleher, 24-14 overall, 2-3 in his last 5. He is on an unfortunate 2-fight skid. Cody Garbrandt, former champion of the world. If you just started watching MMA, COVID or later, you missed Cody's heyday. He beat Dominic Cruz in one of the most spectacular performances anybody has ever seen. That single fight, that single performance from one fighter was literally one of the best performances any fighter has ever had in the cage.
Anytime I see that on anywhere, I always watch that fight because it's fucking insane, dude.
And Cody Garbrandt looked spectacular. He's always been a super razor-sharp, clean boxer. And he has actual wrestling credentials. He wrestled in real life. And then all of a sudden, we saw this insane footwork and the constant movement, the threat of a takedown. He out-Dominic Cruz. He just did it better, was faster, had more power in his hands. The problem is he has so much power in his hands, too much power in his hands, that he started chasing knockouts. And on the way to chasing some knockouts, he got knocked out. And then his chin is gone. And now Cody Garbrandt's a little bit older. It's going to say he's only 32 years old. That's shocking to believe. But Cody Garbrandt's a little older. His chin has been hit a little too few many times. And all of a sudden, you can't necessarily trust him. But he's got all the skills. Great striking, great wrestling, great footwork, all the skills. He is coming off that win over Trevin Jones where we finally saw some patience. We would be screaming at the TV, stop chasing knockouts. And then he fought Trevin Jones and he stopped chasing knockouts and won that fight. He's taking on Brian Kelleher. You're going to see the record, 24-14. You're going to say, oh, he kind of sucks. That is not true. Brian Kelleher is a well-rounded guy. He has clean boxing himself. He's got some decent power, good grappling, sets a nice pace. Super fun to watch. He's always chasing a finish. Very fun guy. And if you look at the record, he's lost to some really good fighters. It's not as if like he's losing to a bunch of strangers. He's lost to some very good fighters. He has all the skills to be a tough night out for anybody, even in a loss. The problem, though, is he just fought Mario Batista and he looked terrible. He had nothing to offer. He was jumping guillotine. It was very out of character for him, but there was just nothing there for Brian Kelleher. I don't know why. Might have just been a bad night. That's not how he fought historically, but he did not look good in that matchup. Anytime Cody Garbrandt fights, he's probably the better fighter in the cage. Maybe literally every single time he fights. But then it comes down to, can you trust his chin? Can you trust him? In his last fight, we can trust him. Is that going to carry over? I don't know. Cody Garbrandt's going to be the pick. He's the better fighter. He's going to have more power in his hands. He's going to have better footwork, better wrestling, more skills overall. But he can get touched and he can get put out at any moment. I think the odds are actually correct. I don't think they're wide. He's that much better of a fighter. But Cody Garbrandt's going to be the pick. I do not have any bets on him just because, he can get knocked out at any moment. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, you have this as high confidence in your picks. And I was going to
I'm very confident I'm very confident in him winning. When it comes to spending money on that, that's a different situation.
Yeah, I like Cody Garbrandt. I think a lot of people like Cody Garbrandt. Everyone's probably going to be rooting for Cody Garbrandt. I was actually, when I went to, so you mentioned that he fought Trevin. I actually was at that Trevin fight. His UFC 280. I actually have I was actually at UFC 285 there. I met Amanda Hebos. And the interesting part about that fight was, leading up to that fight, I knew that he was going to wrestle, right? I do the deep dive into what's going on. The fight week was upon us. In his interviews, he had one of these on, and one of these things on his wrist said it was like his high school wrestling something. I pointed that out. I screenshot it. I sent it to Discord. I said, he's going to wrestle. He's going to win this fight. That's what happened. But in that fight, that was a fight that, yeah, it kind of went his way, and he mixed in some takedowns. He was dancing around, but Trevin did fuck for shit in that fight. I think he landed a total of like 7 significant strikes going into the third round, and like 6 of them were leg kicks. But if you watch that fight, Cody was having the time of his life, right? People were booing. I wasn't booing, but people were booing because it was such a slow fight. He was doing the footwork, dancing and stuff like that. He was never getting hit. He was doing his thing, mixing a takedown in two. But Trevin did land a left hand about halfway through that third round, and you saw the fucking panic in Cody when that thing landed. And when you see that, after he won a fight and he was having success and he was looking good, it's like, holy shit, you still can't trust this guy. He got hit once. It was one punch, the first punch he got hit with. It was like, oh, and then he like started panicking. And you know what he immediately did too? Which is like another big red flag, because the big thing with Cody was, and by the way, the TJ fights, he was winning those fights before he got a little bit aggressive. But the big thing is when he starts getting hit, it's like, fuck it. And he just sits down on a right hand. And if you watch that fight, he got clipped like Trevin. He backs up to the fence, and you see him cock back that right hand again. It's like, oh, man, you can't get on. He just wants to do it all the time. That's just what he does. I think Brian Kelleher is going to get in this guy's face. He knows that the chin is going to be there. He's going to make this a brawl. If Cody wants to wrestle, maybe he has the guillotine, he gets out wrestled. But at some point, he is going to land a shot on Cody's chin. He's not going to be Trevin throwing 13 strikes in 3 rounds, whatever it was. He's going to get in this guy's face. He's going to land a shot, and he's probably going to knock this dude out because Cody Garbrandt can't take a shot. He just can't. It's just not possible anymore. So I'm going Brian Kelleher here because I know he's going to get in this dude's face, and if he lands a couple right hands or a left hand, it's probably going to chin Cody. Trevin landed one shot, and it was like, oh no. It was like, oh. So, I'm going Brian. I
don't. Obviously, we could see all of that happening. Everything you just mentioned could happen. I just think we'll see. I mean, Cody's
I got a good bet for this one. I'm not going to spoil the bet, but I got a good bet for this fight.
For Christ's sake.
No, I got a good bet for this one. I feel real good about this one that I bet.
There you go. I think I do trust Cody to win. No. I trust in Cody's abilities to win. Do I trust him to do the right things? I don't know. But I'm pretty confident Cody wins this fight. $9,000 in DraftKings. He's going to have to finish Brian Kelleher, who's pretty tough. He's not a guy that you just very easily come in there and finish. He's a gamer. He'll stay in your face. If Cody wrestles and he comes in hot and he stays busy, I may have my lineup. I'm going to see what he scored against Trevin Jones because this may look similar to that. Coming forward, shooting a bunch of takedowns. And if he scored pretty well in that.
Takedowns. He wasn't shooting takedowns the whole time. He was just opportunistic.
No, but he had some control time and, like, you know, there were takedowns in the mix. But there were takedowns in the mix, I guess.
He was taken down and controlled in the fight. He was on his back after he got clipped and started panicking a little bit.
So, anyway.
I was at the fight, Angelo, and I was very coherent at that point.
Oh, that's incredible. You're going to have Brian Kelleher in your lineup at $7,200, considering you picked him to win, and he's dirt cheap.
Yeah, he had 2 takedowns. Oh, he's going to be in my lineup for sure. The only red flag for Brian is he is coming off neck surgery in May. He was, and he needed that to kind of continue his career. So this is kind of like
canceled a fight.
Yeah, this is kind of a comeback for him, and he says that he wants to revive his career and stuff. And we'll see. He's a gamer.
I mean, didn't Brian Kelleher's fight literally get canceled from like pre-fight medicals or something like that? And then had this like mysterious surgery and all this stuff. Like it was, whatever it was serious. So that could be an issue as well.
Trevin landed one head strike in the first 2 rounds versus Cody. And then landed 8 in the third. I mean, the guy wasn't doing shit.
Well, it'll be it's a great matchup. It'll be a very fun fight to watch. And if you want to check out the bet that Jacob has, this secret bet, go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. It is only $10 a month for everything you could ever want or need.